So in the previous video, I showed off the Cakes Creative Customs Magwell adapter for the MatrixFire. Super cool, genuinely drop in. The downside is that it just doing that doubles the rate of fire, and the stock motors on stock batteries, even on 2S, have trouble keeping up with that rate of fire. They get bogged down because they just don't have the torque. They're just not drawing enough current to keep up with that insane rate of fire. So I'm going to upgrade the motors, and I'm going to something extra torquey. So I'm going to Fang revamps, which will probably get me higher FIPS than I want. It's probably going to end up being too spicy for HVZ, but should still be war-worthy. And I have a feeling that this blaster, in the configuration I'm going for, wouldn't be great for an HVZ anyway. That rate of fire is not generally particularly good for HVZ, but for Nerf wars, an obscene rate of fire can sometimes be useful. So that's what we're gonna try. I've printed the cage from BuffDaddyNerf that's available on Thingiverse. Links in the description. Super cool. And we're gonna throw some fangs in here and see what happens then. It is done. Got the Fang revamps in there. It was already wired up for 2S. The cage fits beautifully. Good work. My compliments to BuffDaddy. It said that these are still a test. I can confirm that the one that I have, that I printed the 43 millimeter crush, fits and appears to work beautifully. It pairs nicely. And let's see what has happened. I'm gonna take it to the chronograph and get some FIPS, which means I'm gonna need to probably fire single shots because the rate of fire of this thing is absurd and I can't keep track of what the FIPS are. And then we will take it to the range and dump some mag. So, to the chronograph. Come here. Let's get them FIPS. 149. 145. 139. We'll try a double shot, see if we can notice any kind of a dip between the two. I doubt it, but let's see what happens. Looks like 148 and then 149. So yeah, not having any trouble keeping up, or at least with the two. We'll see what happens when we go for a full mad mag dump to the range. I'm here on the range. I've got the hopper on there at the moment because I want to see what the rate of fire is like with that, and then we'll do some mag dumps and you can see if it's as absurd as I seem to think it is. Here we go. Out there. What is boggle? Do we have too many darts? Too many darts. That's a reasonably controllable rate of fire, and nice thing about the hopper is it's easy to top up. Let's toss a few more darts in there and see if I can do some single shots. I can. So yeah, the hopper is pretty nifty, but slapping in the magazine kit, let's see what happens now. We've got 15 rounds in a DZP mag. We'll see how that works. Yup! Let's try a larger mag. Try an 18. I got one of those. Now, some of the issue I'm having is that if there's too much pressure on that top dart, the pusher isn't able to actually push it in and it just chews it up. So we're gonna try some things and see if we can get that to not happen. We're gonna try with the 18 and just see if we get chewed up. Yep, ditch the top one, see if that fixes it. Still some issues. I understand now why he recommended sticking to the 9 volts or putting a PWM in there. Now, let's see, however, how how it feeds from a drum. Now, drums often have trouble with high rates of fire, but I think the pusher in this might have less trouble with that. Plus, there's less pressure on the top dart in a drum than in a stick mag, I think. So let's see how it works. So other than it getting the drum sticking, that worked really well, actually. I'm having a thought. I'm gonna go test something. I'm back, and I have added a pulse width modulator. This is the PWM I keep talking about, and this allows me to adjust the voltage that's going to the pusher motor so I can adjust the rate of fire. We're gonna try it now with a fairly low. This is about a third of the max. I've got a 35 round drum in there because that seems to be what feeds the best, oddly enough. And let's see what we get. Some feed issues, but that rate of fire is certainly manageable. Let's dial it up to about 2/3 and see what happens. And now it's a hose. Added some more darts. Now we'll go full bore. Yeah. All right. Done fiddling. Let's go talk about it. Right. So after more tweaking and tinkering than I want to talk about, I've discovered a couple of things. First of all, it definitely does not like the 22 round worker magazines. My guess is that it's because there's more pressure on the head of the dart because of the curve than on the tail, and it's causing it to not push correctly. It definitely likes the 18 round straights a lot more. I've also discovered that, rather ironically and somewhat annoyingly, it doesn't seem to like Adventure Force waffles very much. And again, I think that has to do with the geometry of, partly of the geometry of the dart, and the way the pusher actually works. I kind of get the feeling that it's causing it when it's under heavier pressure, especially when you have a full magazine. It's causing the dart heads to actually press together and interlock because they're waffles, and it will snag, and then you end up shredding the dart. Now, one thing I did try was to improve the grip of the pusher by adding grip tape, and all that did was result in it, instead of melting the dart, shredding the dart, but I didn't see any improvement in it actually feeding. What did improve it was switching darts. So I tried both regular Elite darts and AccuFakes, and those seemed to feed a lot better. The PWM definitely does make it nice because you can now adjust the rate of fire to something a little bit more reasonable, but if you want, you can still crank it up and go full dart hose. It works, the cage works beautifully, the adapter works beautifully, it's just that pusher I think needs a little bit more work, or you just need to, you know, figure out what ammo magazine capacity combination works best, or just run it on the hopper. But I enjoyed this. This wasn't a blaster that was even on my list to acquire until this adapter showed up, and I've had a lot of fun with it. So there you have it. Let me know what you guys think of the MatrixFire. Anything that you have found that works better, tweaks that you have. If there is in fact an upgraded pusher somewhere that I just haven't found, let me know. And thank you guys for watching.